right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
A deadly double shooting.
I thought he was in the house playing a video game. I had to go bang on the door like, hey, baby, I think they outside shooting.
The reaction from neighbors and the man who tried to save them. Remembering the Holocaust.
My parents were deported from River Salties to Auschwitz around August 10th, 1942, and were then murdered.
The tribute to those who went through the unthinkable.
Another week of severe weather, and while the strongest risk is out west, we're starting to creep into that. Why the timing of this severe weather risk matters as we track multiple chances for severe weather this week.
It's back tonight. Showers and storms just now making their way into our area, a harbinger of things to come. Our next weather alert day is less than 48 hours away. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush. This will be a busy week in the Weather First Weather Center with rain and storms in our forecast, and some of them could be severe. So let's get right to meteorologist Gary Frank with that Weather First forecast.
Yeah, good evening, Mike. This is not a night where we have to go to bed and worry about storms, but I can't say the same 24 hours from now because we're going to be dealing with that severe weather that I mentioned where that highest risk is in Oklahoma and southern Kansas. Right now, light rain settling in Arnold, and a lot of cameras are going to be showing that as you see this light rain. And the leading edge of it, specifically in the metro east and southern Illinois, is where you're seeing the most moderate rain. I know that's probably the last thing a lot of you want to see is any more rain, but that is not going to amount to much. Most of the heavy rain stays out of here, but we're still going to see some moderate bands that have settled in Sparta, and they're working their way up closer to I-64 and really closer to downtown St. Louis and Belleville, New Athens right now. Redbud and Sparta, you'll see that it's a little bit wet, but the wind is calm. Temperatures at 68 right now. It's out of the east at 8 miles an hour, and it's lightly raining. Tonight, we'll see a few showers and a rumble of thunder or two. But over the week ahead, we've got lots of dry time. That includes tomorrow. That includes Tuesday. But there are also lots more rain chances, including severe weather threats on those alert days. We'll talk about what that means for us and the day I'm pinpointing out of Tuesday and Wednesday to expect the most likely severe weather.
A man is in custody tonight after the deaths of a brother and sister in North County. St. Louis County Police continue to investigate at this hour. And 5 on Your Side's Laura Barczewski talked with a neighbor who tried to help today. Laura?
Mike, one of the neighbors tells me he ran straight into danger when he heard the shooting happening outside his house. He did everything he could to try and help the 2 victims. Just after 9:30 Sunday morning, 2 neighbors on Wardak Avenue were going through their morning routines when they heard several shots fired outside their homes. Both of them wanted to remain anonymous for their own safety.
I was in the kitchen cooking breakfast for my daughter, and we just heard gunshots. So I told my baby to get down because I didn't know what was going on.
I was down in the basement getting ready for the morning when I heard a handful of shots, and I ran upstairs and seeing the suspect running down the street.
That's when one of those neighbors says without giving it a second thought, he ran out to help.
So I ran upstairs, grabbed my gun, and went outside to make sure that the lady that was screaming, that everything was okay.
Then he realized there was a man who'd been shot lying in the street just steps from his door.
So I ran back inside my house, grabbed a belt and towels for a tourniquet so I could try to render aid, but unfortunately the victim had perished.
Halfway down the block, he found another victim, a woman who'd been shot, and tried to help her, but she also died at the scene. He later learned the victims were brother and sister. When police arrived, they actually thought he was a suspect because a neighbor saw him with a gun when they called 911, but he was able to explain what happened and actually gave them a description of the suspect.
We had heard from the detectives. I believe the guy had ordered an Uber. He did it and then had an Uber ready for him so he could get out of here. They saw him getting into a car and they thought it was weird, so they pulled that car over and stopped the Uber drivers.
Police say they arrested the man and recovered the gun. While that's a relief to both neighbors, it's going to be tough to sleep at night.
We don't really have too much happen over here, so to see this happen is a tragedy.
Hold your loved ones tight.
Police have not released the names of the victims or the suspect and believe this all started because of some sort of argument. The investigation is ongoing.
And new tonight, a man is dead after a shooting this morning in North St. Louis City. Officers found a man shot multiple times on North 20th Street near Palm after getting calls a little after 5. He was taken to the hospital but died shortly after. Homicide detectives are investigating, and we're working to get more information for you. We'll pass it along as soon as we do. Colleges and universities across the U.S. held graduations this weekend, while some were clashing with campus protests calling for a free Palestine. Nearly 24 people were arrested at the University of Virginia, another 70 at the Art Institute of Chicago. At the University of Michigan, many were carried out of their graduation ceremony on Saturday, and USC canceled their main commencement ceremony, citing what the school called security concerns.
We've seen a lot of inconsistency by the university in terms of their response police-wise. The university was committed to holding commencement, that while it supported free speech, it also had limits.
St. Louis saw its own collision between demonstrators and graduations yesterday at SIUE. There, dozens rallied peacefully to support a Wash U professor put in the hospital after another protest the weekend prior. This is Holocaust Remembrance Day, and we do have a couple of stories for you tonight. It's obviously a challenging time for Jewish people in the U.S. in the wake of all the pro-Palestinian protests, but today was a reminder of the 6 million Jews murdered during the Holocaust. And as Annie Krall reports, some say remembering history is more important than ever.
St. Louis is home to about 900 Holocaust survivors, many like Liesel Aschenbrand, sharing their stories Sunday through family members such as Dee Herman, saying the 92-year-old still has nightmares.
Rats, mice, dirt, and hunger were constant companions. In early 1941, we were transported to another camp called Rivensaltis.
A concentration camp like the one Vera Emmons' mother survived when she was taken from Berlin, named Vera after the sister her mother lost, spending 2 years in multiple camps around 1943. Before she passed, Gerda Notman-Luhner used to say she survived because of luck and being skilled with electronics, making it to America when she was 18.
She was quiet, not because she didn't have any opinions, but she was not one for small talk. She was very smart, very good at languages.
The St. Louis Holocaust Museum spreading awareness at the gathering and coming together after the pro-Palestinian protests this last week at Wash U.
The devastation of the Israelis, the devastation of the Palestinians, it's not good for anybody. The museum is a resource for remembering history. And so when you hear some of these chants, you wonder, are people paying attention to how anti-Semitism took root years ago, leading up to the Holocaust?
After speaking with St. Louis Holocaust Museum leaders, they say one of the most crucial parts of this commemoration is still teaching lessons that need to be learned, especially when talking about the Israeli hostages.
We want to make sure that people who are held against their will, and in horrible situations, are released. October 7th was the largest massacre of Jewish people since the Holocaust. And so when we say never again, it very clearly has echoes today.
Reporting in Creve Coeur, Annie Krall, 5 on your side.
And that was Annie Krall reporting. We have to remember that Holocaust Remembrance Day is not just about Jewish people. Millions of people who are not Jewish were also killed by the Nazis during the Holocaust, including the physically and mentally disabled. Coming up, a Holocaust survivor's story.
In those days, anti-Semitism in Europe was terrible, and nobody can understand how bad it was unless you lived it.
His incredible journey of resilience and the fight against hate. While they aren't moving on, they're still going on.
You have to go on. You have to know every day you have to get up.
The message from a mom who's lost her children.
While we have showers overnight, it's this system in the Great Basin that's most likely responsible for our severe weather threat this week. What it does for us and the most significant severe weather we're impacted by.